Hello everyone! I appreciate the SSE for bringing our team on to help develop new strategies for the upcoming match at Estadio Simio. I think our analysis and corresponding simulation will prove helpful to the current operations team and improve the current state of the stadium. For this project, data was analyzed from ticketing, security, bathroom, merchandise, and concessions. This data helped us understand where fans go from each gate, how many and how often fans use the restrooms, and the purchasing habits of fans at both the merchandise stands and concession stands. This data was used to help create our model. Here is an example of a result we were able to get from the data. This table tells us how many fans from each of the 5 seating sections entered the stadium during each 15-minute time interval. This allowed us to understand who and where people entered the stadium. These graphs showed the purchasing habits of customers at each game. They were found from historical data, and our team used this to simulate what fans would buy when going to the concession stand. We based our probabilities of what item the fans would buy and how many of the item based off of this data. In order to create a model of the stadium, we had to make some assumptions. Our first assumption is that fans will go directly to their seats after they enter the stadium. This means they will not go to, for example, the merchandise or concessions or the bathroom on their way to their seat. Our second assumption is that when fans do exit their seat, they will only go to a preset concession stand, merchandise stand, or bathroom. They cannot go to, for example, a merchandise stand on the other side of the stadium. They have to go to a merchandise stand that is close to them. And our third assumption is that fans don't leave the line at a gate if it is too long. This means that when they're entering security, they're never going to renege from security and exit the game. And this is also true when they're using the bathroom. They will never exit the bathroom because it is an essential task. And our final assumption is that when fans leave their seat, they can't do more than one activity in the concourse at a time. But it is true that more fans do activities than the number of fans who leave their seats. So to account for this, we created a rate scale factor that will have more fans leaving their seat so that more activities end up being done to match the historical data. These are the results of a simulated current state of the stadium. 15,000 food items were sold, along with 2,000 shirts. The average wait time for concessions was 7.8 minutes in the current state, and 1,500 fans left the line at concessions and merchandise stands because the line was too long. In other words, they reneged from the line. The current state does line up with the historical data and shows low profit and excessive waiting time. To help verify and validate that our model was working properly, we tested many versions of our model, comparing our results to historical data, and we also consulted simulation experts to ensure that our simulation followed proper procedures, logic, and that our statistical analysis also followed proper logic and procedures. We also found that everything in our simulation works as intended with the assumptions that we set. So our model can be used for statistical analysis, and we also found through our animation and through just watching the model entities that the entities went through the system as we intended them to go through, the merchandise, concessions, and restrooms, and security, and everything really worked with the limitations and assumptions that we set for our model. We also compared the historical data to data generated from our model. The difference between real and simulated data is very small for people entering the stadium, people who leave their seats and go to the concourse, and for people who use the restroom. Our simulated data did struggle to model the number of products sold though. As you can see, there's a very high percent error for the number of food items sold and for the number of shirts sold, but the percent error for the other 3 tasks are fairly low. In order to improve the current conditions at Estadio Simio, our team recommends 3 things. First, add a single line for the concessions instead of multiple lines for each register. This helps to decrease the wait time at concessions, and in turn, people are less likely to renege, or in other words, they're less likely to leave the line. We also recommend an increase in the number of cashiers at each concession stand, which we will go into detail more on later. Finally, we recommend an updated setup for security and ticketing to help decrease wait times for fans entering the stadium. This will include changing the number of security officers and ticketing agents at the security and ticketing area. The ideal number of cashiers for merchandise and concessions that we found is shown in these two tables. After analyzing our results, our team was able to determine that if this number of employees is used at each location, it will decrease the wait time enough that people will not leave the line because it is too long. This will greatly increase the number of customers served, increase revenue, and decrease wait time for the customers. Our results also lead us to the ideal setup for security and ticketing. We outlined 3 options for Estadio Simio to choose. Each option has a different number of security and ticketing personnel at each gate, and the associated cost and wait time with the setup is also outlined in the table. Option C has the lowest wait time of 4.6 minutes, but it also has the highest cost of $38,000 per game. Option A has an increase of 1.8 minutes of wait time, but will cost $8,000 less than option C. We believe that option B is the best option as it is the happy medium for decreasing wait time and decreasing cost, as the wait time will only decrease by 0.2 minutes if you use option C versus option B, but the cost will increase by $4,000, so $4,000 is really not worth 0.2 minutes of wait time. It is also true that fans would likely not want to wait for more than 5 minutes, so option B is going to be our best recommendation over option A and C. Any less security and ticketing personnel will result in excessive wait times for fans. With these 3 recommendations implemented, using a single line, increasing cashiers at concessions and merchandise, and increasing security and ticketing at each gate, the profitability and customer satisfaction of the stadium will greatly improve. According to our model, profits will increase by approximately $20,000, wait time for concessions decrease by 2.3 minutes, and 1,200 more fans will be served. We believe that our report and recommendations will lead Estadio Simio to be a better organization for itself and the community that it serves. Thank you.